at t equals to 0, the utility of study in day 1 and day 2, well, what is that? That equals to, it's in the future, beta, then he studied on both days, so the utility is 10 minus 1 on the first day, there's a discount by delta, plus delta square 10 minus 1 on the second day. Okay, that equals to 0.7 times 0.9 times 9 plus 0.81 times 9. Right? Okay, so whereas if he study on the only on the second day, which is what she would do if she doesn't commit herself to any particular course of action, then what she would face is beta delta square 10 minus 2.4. That's 0.7 times 0.81 times 7.6. And then if you calculate, then this 0.9 times 0 times 9 plus 0.81 times 9 times, okay, wait, this is way too large. Okay, try again. 0.9 times 9 plus 0.81 times, apparently the calculator in Windows doesn't actually know how to, you actually need to multiply first. Do you know that? No. Plus 8.1 times 0.7. Okay, so that's 10.773. And in the other case, it's 7.6 times 0.81 times 0.7. That's making sure that it's correct. It's 4.3. Okay. Okay, so that looks like what it is, right? Yeah, 9981, and yeah, it should be correct. All right, so clearly it's better to study. It's clearly better to study on over 2 days instead of a single one. So she would actually want to commit. In fact, she would be willing to pay a price to commit, right? Because as long as the price she paid for commitment is less than the difference between the two utility here, namely 6.47, she would still be better off. So what we get out of this is that people actually willing to exert effort in order to keep themselves on a committed path, right? For example, to make sure that you study, what could you do? You could form a study group, right, at a library. Or you might just go to the library yourself. That's a commitment, right? Going to the library to study takes effort. You need to travel to the library. Why don't you study at home? Well, for many people, studying in the library actually is a commitment. You're in the library, you study. If you're at home, you do other things. And there are other people who would uninstall games on their cell phones and computers right before exams, right? Once again, that's a commitment. If you don't want to play, you can just leave the game where it is, right? For many people, that's not going to work. So people do use commitment, right? People do use commitment. Now, given that people use now. Given that you have commitment, then the question in concern actually becomes quite simple, right? If your commitment, all you need to do is to choose the best action at the very beginning, and just say you commit to that. Most of the time, in terms of what questions can be asked in an exam or an assignment, is if there's a commitment, then that's all it is. We don't actually go deal with the details of the commitment, right? How you exactly can commit? That's usually not a concern. We're just saying that you have an incentive to commit. What's more interesting is what happens if you cannot commit. In reality, it might not be possible to commit to a course of action. Then what do you do? What do you do? Right? So